Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is not on Donald Trump's good side, and of course hasn't been for a very long time, even though Trump's the guy that put him in office many years ago during his first term. But Trump and Powell have not gotten along since Donald Trump came back, because Donald Trump keeps demanding that the Federal Reserve lower interest rates to free up money so people can buy houses and, take out small business loans, whatever it is. But right now, it's expensive to borrow money because the Fed is keeping the rates high. And this week, Powell admitted that the reason we have to do this, the reason we're keeping these rates high, is because of Donald Trump. Now, I'll read you what Powell said, and then I'll tell you what he really wanted to say, because it's pretty obvious. Here's what Powell said. In effect, we went on hold when we saw the size of the tariffs, and essentially all inflation forecasts for the United States went up materially as a consequence of the tariffs. In other words, Donald Trump's a friggin' idiot. He has destroyed the economy, put us on the verge of a recession, although because the second quarter is now ended, we could technically already be in a recession. But Powell is telling us this guy screwed things up so badly that we can't lower interest rates because of the recession fears, because of the economic forecasts, and of course, all of that is related to his trade war. But there's another way that has to be interpreted, right? Because when Biden was in office, when he first came into office, the Fed had to raise interest rates, right? There was a looming recession, a second one coming, and they said, oh crap, we have to raise interest rates to get people to stop borrowing money, because that's how you stave off a recession. And it worked. All economists said we're going to hit a recession, but the moves that Biden and the Fed made prevented us from hitting that recession point. They did a great job. Did it cause some economic pain for American families? Yes, it did. But did it save them from more pain? Yes, it did. It was the lesser of two evils, if you will. But it worked. Trump is telling Powell right now, do the opposite. Lower the rates, which would immediately drive us into a recession, as Powell knows, because he's not a moron. Trump is. But Powell's telling us, look, we started lowering interest rates at the end of the Biden years. We would have continued lowering them had Trump literally done nothing. All Donald Trump had to do, folks, was come into office and do nothing. That's it. Don't F with the trade. Don't F with the tariffs. Don't start a trade war. Just do what's being done and everything will be okay economically. And Trump couldn't even do that. As I mentioned, the reason this statement from Powell is so concerning is because the second quarter of this year just ended on Monday. So in the coming weeks, maybe in a few days, depending on, some of the preliminary numbers, we're going to find out if we're already in a recession. We had an economy that shrunk in the first quarter, and it actually shrunk by more than what they had said it did, because those revised numbers just came out a couple weeks ago. So things are not good. Things are getting worse, and things could in fact be even worse than we already know. Once we get those second quarter numbers, and if we are in a recession, Trump can say goodbye to any thought of the Fed lowering interest rates, because the only thing to help drive us out of that will be keeping interest rates high. They will likely go up. And again, that'll cause economic pain, but not as much economic pain as Donald Trump has already inflicted upon us and will continue to inflict upon us for his entire time in office. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.